Hello, sir. Hello.
Hello, hi everyone. Good evening.
Sir, we can start the class.
Okay, okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sukhbir Chal, and I am the trainer of the course. So, let me start first of all about myself. So, I started my networking journey in 2016 as a CCNA student, and later on, I joined the organization as a lab instructor, and I spent around 7 to 8 years in teaching. So I started with as a CCNA trainer and then CCNP professional trainer. And after that, in 2019, I cleared my CCI certification, and I started with CCI routing and switching. So with time, I consume all the content which is required for today's network. Like if we know the basic fundamental of routing and switching, we need to know the security part as well, automation also, right? And we need to know the data center also. So I am familiar with routing, switching, security, data center, and automation. So I spent almost 10 years in this industry. So, and if you talk about the certification, so I have multiple certifications, but the major one is CCI routing switching, which I cleared in 2019. So now I'm preparing for data center and security. So I will give lab for that also. If you are not clear with the certification, so let me give you the overview. Okay, but before that, I want you can tell about yourself, like how you came with the networking journey and what is your experience in this industry. So we can start with Kenel, could you share your journey with us? Hello, Kenel, am I audible to you? Okay, never mind. So yeah, Vicky, if you have something to share with us, please you can share.
Yeah, hi everyone.
Hi
Uh,
Vicky, how are you?
I am good. Thanks. I have total 9+ years of experience in IT industry and around 8 years experience in networking. I have I have done CCNA, CCNP, and Core and NRC. And right now I am working on Versa SD-WAN, and we have some uh, clients with the legacy network, and
Okay.
for every company, security part is very important. So that's why I'm trying to grab some knowledge about security.
Okay, thank you, Vicky. Yeah, you will get what you are trying to get in security. So, in security, we will discuss all the topics with the traditional and with the now with the next generation firewalls, like why we come up from traditional to next generation. And even the security part is very important for the network infra, right? And Sahir, could you give us about yourself? Hello, Sahir, are you there? Okay. Riaz, hello. Am I audible to you?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
good evening. I'm Riaz Ahmad. Yeah,
Hi, Riaz. So, just we want to
yeah.
know about your networking experience and like how you come with this journey and like what you are trying to achieve, like what are your goals with
Actually,
networking?
yeah. Actually, I'm from telecommunication side. Just looking to go in networking with security. So I'm new to this.
Okay.
Yeah, just I want to know about the security.
Okay. So yeah,
Yeah,
I know many of my friends. Those are from telecommunications. Those joined as networking now because they change their professions as per the demand right now, right? So everyone is looking
yeah,
for
right.
working right nowadays. So first of all, you need to know the foundation of network like routing and switching. So you know CCNA and CCIE, right? And Ground Core and NRC for now. Before that, it was just CCNP routing and switching, and we need to understand security concept also. So we can follow the Cisco course, which is very easy to understand every type of information, like how VPN works, how net works. So you can compare those technologies with other devices also, like Palo Alto, Fortinet, Checkpoint, right? So yeah, we will go through everything. That is the foundation of security also, and you can compare and you can configure those things also on other vendor also, like Palo Alto, Fortinet, Checkpoint, right? And even we will do with Cisco. So that is in our course. Thank you, Riaz. So guys, let's start with the class, and just give me 1 minute, okay? So I will say first of all what we are going to be cover, right? And before that, the major point, you always need to know what is certification and what is the value of certification industry, right? Because you know everything, and you know how to configure your router, switch, firewall, and any device. So you have idea about each and everything, but the point is, how would you validate to someone you are capable to do that, right? Are you getting my point? So we have certifications, okay? So if anyone have certification, so we can say, okay, this is capable to do this configuration, this migration of the network, right? So every course, or you can say every type of course, have always certification, okay? So certification is kind of validation, and that validation gives you proof, okay, you are now expert in this particular thing. You are like you are beginner, okay? Maybe you are starting with the basic certifications, okay? So we have multiple domains. First of all, let me give you the idea of the networking domains which we have currently. So we have first of all routing and switching right now, right? That is routing and switching. So where we discuss only about router and switch, and right now this is known as enterprise, right? So that is enterprise. And after that we have security, okay? So in security also, you go through with multiple devices, like you go with firewall, right? And you have some Cisco devices like ICE for AAA solution, and there are some VPN things, right? So there are multiple things in security. So there is complete domain of security. And after that we have data center also, like where we learn about the server, storage, Nexus, right? That's according to Cisco, because Cisco have data center solution. Just a minute, guys. Sorry for delay, guys. Okay, so data center, as we know, that is for storage, right? If you want to store your data, you need server and storage technology, like you need SAN. You need to understand the concept of leaf and spine, right? So there are multiple things if you talk about that, okay? And after that we have service provider also. So in service provider we have similar things like routing and switching, but there are more things, okay? And we have wireless also, right? And we have collaboration, and there is also now uh, the name is changed. That is, you can say automation for now, right? So Cisco is also launched automation. So these are the multiple domains, and for every domain they have single CCNA, you can say. If I go with these domains, so every domain have the first beginner course is CCNA. Everyone is aware with that, I guess, right? So CCNA is the first course, as you know. Okay. I hope my screen is visible to everyone, right? If you have any challenge, please let me know. Okay. So CCNA is the first course which is for the beginner, right? Okay. So this is for the beginners, like those are freshers, you can say. Okay. Those are freshers in the network. So this is for freshers. And after that, we have separate course for each domains. Like for routing and switching, if we go, we have the first course is CCNP and core. And after that, we have some additional course if you go with NRC and for wireless, something else, right? And similar for security, we have CCNP S-Core that we are going to be cover. And after S-Core also, we have different courses, right? That is in security in CCNP. And similar we have for data center. So every course have their CCNP, right? The mediator course. And the last one is your expert one, which is CCI for every course. So that means there are three levels: beginner, mediator, and the expert level. So expert level is the CCI. Okay. So now according to courses, you have certification also to validate your knowledge. Okay. Maybe in company in interview, you need to validate your knowledge. Who are you and what you can do for the company or for the organization, right? So there are certifications. So first of all, we have written exam, right? For all the courses, every course have written exam first of all. Okay. So first of all, we have written exam. So written exam, you can go with Pearson. So Pearson is the center. Okay. So in Pearson, you can give the written exam. Okay. So written exam is for CCNA and CCNP. That can be any domain like routing, switching, security, data center, wireless, automation. And after that, we have here one lab exam is also. Lab exam is like practical exam where you have to do the practicals and you have to give the exact output, right? Okay. So in practical exam is only for CCI, only for CCI. That means after CCI, you will get a magic number. What you will get, guys? Magic number. So magic number is like that is from the point of view of Cisco. So Cisco have CCI number. So right now in industry we have around 68,000 plus CCI certified person in the industry. So this is the number. Okay. So we have only 68,000 right now. So that means in all over world only 68,000 people are expert level certified. Okay. Because they cleared this lab exam and they got the number. If you can't clear, you can't get any number. But to do this CCI, there are some prerequisites. What is the prerequisites? You have to give written exam also, written exam for CCNP. So once you give the written exam for CCNP, then you can book the lab for CCI, okay, and then you can sit in your lab and you can clear the exam. Okay, guys. So maybe you can be the next one who can clear your exam and you will get your certifications. So you can say now I'm the CCI, right? So you can proudly say with this number because you have gone through all things. You know the entire technology, you know the entire architecture, how to configure, what to configure, right? So this is all about the certification. So if any one of you have any doubt in certification, please let me know. Guys, good to go. Hello, anyone? Yes, Kenil. Okay, cool. So now this is all about the certification. So now I'm starting with the course content. What we are going to be cover in the CCNP security. Before that, if you want to go with all the courses, so just you can go with the Cisco site. You will get all information about the Cisco certifications. Okay, so you can go in the certification exams and explore all the exam. So we have here, these are the exams that for that we can go, right? So we have like okay, collaboration, DevNet, cyber security, data center, DevNet, and just a minute. Yeah, these are the codes, right? So these are the code for every exam. But let me explain you. Like these exams for every domain. So I want to choose the particular domain like security. Mm, okay. Okay, CCNP Security certification. So under that, you can see first of all we have one exam. Where it is? Not this one. Another one is exam entrance. Okay. So first of all, we have score exam, guys. Okay, so score is the first exam which you have to clear if you want to clear the professional services CCNP. You want to clear this examination. Okay, this is exam in security or any domain. That is the core exam. Okay, core. If you have enterprise, so that is in core. If you have security, that is S core. In data center, this will become DC core, right? Okay, so this exam is your about $400. Okay, and the duration will be 120 minutes. Okay, accordingly you have to give. And now you have some concentration exams like for CCNP. If you want to give professional certification, so two exams are required. So the first exam is mandatory, which is the S core. You can give this exam, okay, for professional, and later on you can choose any one of them exam. Okay, so like this is as SNF, SCF, or SIS, SESA, SWSA, SVPN, S automation. Okay, you can choose any one of them. Okay, so after these two exams, you will be a CCNP certified person. Okay, but if you want to give CCI security lab, so you can give only SCORE exam, the written exam, and then you can book for CCI security directly, right? So CCI security have different cost, that is around I think $1,600. Okay, and Cisco have limited locations in worldwide, so you have to choose uh, accordingly center for the. But for written, maybe in every country have locations for written exam, or you can give online as well. But lab exam is not possible online. You have to give offline on Cisco site, on Cisco premises. Okay. Now let me open the content. Just a minute, guys. Okay, so guys, here we are discussing about the course content. So this is our CCNP security course, right? So in which we will discuss about all the things that is a part of traditional security network, so you can understand the basic fundamental of security, right? And later on we will go with the advanced security topics or the devices which is currently in networking, or you can say in the industry, right? Like if you say we need to understand Cisco ASA also to understand the Cisco next generation firewall, right? Because the same thing is working on ASA, but we need to know what are the challenges on the ASA device and why we moved with the next generation firewall, and what is the next generation firewall, what features we will get in that, right? So all these things we will cover in this course, right? So we are starting here with the first network equipment in security, which is Cisco firewall known as ASA. So you know, in networking or in industry, what is the value of security firewall, right? Security firewall is to prevent any type of attack or any malicious data in the network, right? Because you know the firewall, or if you don't know about firewall, you know the basic feature of Windows, right? Because Windows also have firewall, and we know what is the value of antivirus, right? So similar network firewall like a antivirus device which keep clean your network and prevent your network from any unauthorized data who's trying to come your network, maybe that can corrupt your network, corrupt your servers, storage, right? So there can be any challenge with that. So we are starting with basic device, the overview of the device and the history about it, right? And how we can deploy the Cisco device for practicals, basic practicals. Okay. And we can discuss about the initial configuration, how we can configure the device with basic configuration, IP address, normal configuration, route. Okay. And then we will discuss about the traffic flow, like if in my network, for an example, okay, so suppose here I have some network equipments, right? So this is my desktop, and desktop, and here are my server, right, located in the network. So this is my switch one, which is for users, okay? And I have another device which is for my server located in the same network, okay? And then maybe I have some another distribution switch. So this is distribution switch, and everyone is connected with this, okay? And now here we have firewall device, okay? And after firewall we have some internet media. So here we have internet. So that means whenever any user is trying to access the internet, so user is trying to access the internet, user can go through the firewall device first, okay? So we want to make sure whenever anyone is trying to access your network, so uh, we make the basic network connectivity here. So we have network connectivity here, right? So the connectivity means the device is connected with your switches, and device is getting IP address, and device is able to go to the internet easily. Like they can access the resources like YouTube, right? And any other applications which is required, Office 365, okay? So maybe at that time you have some users, those are not using appropriate data. Maybe they are getting some pop-up message on the screen on their site. Okay, click on that link, you will get $10,000, right? So if anyone think about $10,000, this is a big amount for me, right? So maybe by mistake my employee will click on that link, right? So maybe that link is not some good data, right? So maybe that can be some malicious data. Malicious data means some virus injected in that link, right? So if my employee will click on that link, so virus will insert in my network that can corrupt my network devices. So whose responsibility is here? Maybe user can do mistake, but as a network administrator, as a network admin, what I have to do? I have to deploy some network services. Those can make sure if they trying to access some unwanted site, maybe they want to access some unwanted site, so how we can make sure they are not accessing it, right? That is the first thing. So maybe they will access some site which is not appropriate, or which we don't need to access in network, like there is no required of Instagram to access in the office premises, right? Maybe that is only for marketing team, and YouTube and Facebook, right? So we can make sure who can access those particular sites, right? And similar, if somehow they are trying to click on some link or by mistake in some data which have malicious data, so that data is entering in my network, right? Through the network devices like router, switch, firewall, any device. So how I will make sure this traffic is coming that is not harmful for my network devices? Okay, so I need to scan that traffic. What I need to do, guys, I need to scan that traffic. So here we are talking about network security. So network security is very big concern, because we are talking about, what we are talking about here, we are talking about here one thing, that is data. So this is very valuable thing for everyone, right? For every you can say organization, right? So because data is very valuable, we are not talking about firewall, router and switch, we are talking about from the point of view data. So we want to make sure, this is our goal, right? So this is our goal. So we have to protect this thing, we have to protect this thing. And how we can protect? So the first thing which is already in the network, that we have to protect, okay? And one, that we are sending outside from the network over the internet, right? Because we have two type of data. One is static data, guys, and second is dynamic data. So we have to understand what is static data and what is dynamic data. Static data means which is like in my network and available on some internal server. So I have here a network. Okay, so like here is my network device connected with, again, some core switch or any other switch, and I have here multiple server like that, right? Okay, and at the same time I have some LAN devices also. So these are the LAN users. Okay, so now my firewall is connected with internet media, and now these users are trying to access some data which is exist on the internet. Maybe they are trying to access the office 365 services. Why? Because everything is on cloud right now. Okay, so now this type of traffic is dynamic for me. This type of traffic is dynamic for me because the traffic is moving in the network, going outside and coming in the network, right? So this is moving network, that is dynamic. So I need to make sure this traffic, I have to secure it using some protocol, some fun some principles, right? So we have to secure it. And the second is static data. Static means that data is exist on my server. So this is maybe some server belong to account department, right? This server is belong to some administrator department, okay, like HR or something. So that is static data because that is not moving on the internet. Maybe one user is here belong to account department and they are trying to access the data from this server, right? So this is static data which is existing on the server. So that means if there is anything, like if this user is using some tool to access the server, so we want to make sure whenever user is using tool and trying to access the server, so server will not affected with any malicious data. So that is static data for me. So our responsibility is to secure the data. So data can have any mode, dynamic or static, right? Maybe you user data is moving to the internet, okay, or over the internet on a different location. Maybe this is your headquarters, right? So here you have some other locations where you have firewall and switches. So here also you are trying to make some connection or trying to forward data over the internet to this location, right? So the traffic is moving on a public network. So on public network you need to make sure your data is protected here. So you will form some secure connectivity between the firewalls at that time, right? So that is my dynamic data, so I need to protect that also. And the data is in my network, I need to protect that also. So there are multiple things, okay, or there are multiple technologies which we are using to protect it, right? So if you go through it, uh, in Cisco firewall you will get all the things how we can protect a network. Before that, how we can configure the device, how we can configure routing on a firewall. Like on firewall also we want to configure routing, because maybe we are using dynamic routing because static is not feasible, right? So we need to use OSPF or we need to use BGP, right? And we know the value of the net. So we have different type of net, static, dynamic and pat. So we have multiple types of net over here, right? So we will discuss all these things and how we can deploy the firewall. What are the modes, like transparent mode. Transparent mode means like in layer 2 mode you can deploy the firewall. You have such scenarios, okay. And here we have quality of service. Quality of service, like if I have LAN network and thousands of users are sending data to my firewall, so I know which data I have to prioritize first, because priority matters, right? Like on a road, if there are multiple vehicles going on, right? So maybe everyone is not belong to the same class. Same means like one is a normal car, the second is ambulance, and third is something else. So which vehicle you will give the priority? The ambulance, right? Because the critical is this one. So similar in network, we will make sure like your meeting applications, maybe you are using Outlook, okay, like for mail, or you are using Teams, or you are using Google Meet. So for those applications, maybe those are priority for me. So I want to make sure those are uh, get first priority and exit the firewall, right? So similar, we can use multiple firewalls for high availability. Maybe one is down, so at least you have another firewall to handle the same traffic, okay, at the same moment. So for high availability, we have clustering and we have some security context, right? So we will discuss this point about firewall. Okay. So after that, we have next generation firewall. Like after traditional, we will discuss what are the improvements that is in firewall device. Okay. And after that, how this firewall is working and how we can configure the same thing, how we can deploy that, and what is the changes in the policies, right? And like multiple features in the same device, like SSL description, file description, NAP, intrusion policy, right? So same device have multiple features which are not exist with the previous or the traditional device, I can say, okay. So that is the benefit of the next generation firewall or next generation IPS. And later on we have here about VPN. So you know the value of the VPN. Why? Because everyone know about VPN. VPN is giving you secure connection. So similar in networks, we also need VPN. Why we need VPN, guys? Try to understand. I have here one site. So site have here firewall one, and site two have another firewall two for me, right? And now both are located on different locations. like different city or different country, so those are connected with internet. Internet means lease line, if you know about that, right? Lease line is the dedicated line which have dedicated uh, data speed for you, like 100 mbps or 1 gig, right? And now if anyone is trying to send data to internet, so that is open data, so anyone can open your data and see what you are trying to send, right? So for that we have here VPN, that we can send this between the firewall devices, and after that data will be forwarded between them in encrypted format, right? So now the traffic will move through that VPN, so firewall will form here VPN. Okay, so VPN is like virtual VPN. Over that traffic is always in encrypted format. Okay, so encrypted format means if firewall 1 encrypt it, only firewall 2 can decrypt it, right? It's not like someone is trying to decrypt, the hacker is trying to decrypt, maybe they will try it, but VPN have multiple types and VPN is very secure because VPN is using some algorithms, so accordingly this will be impossible for hackers to decrypt your data. So that's why we trust on VPN. So we will understand how we can configure the VPN between the firewalls. Okay, and the types of VPN we will discuss because we have multiple types of VPNs. Okay, if you see, we will understand the basic fundamental of VPN. Okay, like how IPsec is working. So IPsec is, you can say, the protocol suite which tells about us VPN. So you can say that basically IPsec is the VPN here, right? So IPsec is the name. So behind the IPsec there are multiple protocols, those are working. So if you know, like if there is any firm, right? So firm have multiple departments, those are working. So including, or you can say the combination of multiple departments going to make here one firm, right? So similar IPsec is name. So behind that we have multiple protocols. So we will learn those protocol and the behavior of the protocols. After that, the types of VPN which we have, okay, and the modes. So the first VPN we will discuss site to site, get VPN, flex VPN, SSL VPN, okay, and then clientless remote access VPN. That is any connect in the case of Cisco. So this clientless is our any connect VPN, okay. And in VPN, how we can achieve the load balancing and high availability, that we will see. Okay. So after that, we have some layer 2 and layer 3 security. Like if you have gone through switching, so in switching also you got some layer 2 security. Like in spanning tree, you have few security features like BPD guard, BPD filter, right? Loop guard, and port protection, right? And layer 2 port security. So similar, we have few things in here also that we will discuss. How we can protect the layer 2 network, right? And how we can protect our traffic also. So we need to understand we have multiple type of traffic. So we have some management traffic, we have some data traffic, and we have also control plane traffic, right? And on Cisco normal router, how we can achieve or how we can protect that data, we will discuss that also. Okay. And the next device is about ESA, that is like WSA and ESA. Okay, the previous name was WSA, now you can say it's ESA also. So that is web security appliance. Web security appliance means which is basically used for URL filtering. So if you want to filter any URL like youtube.com, so Cisco have separate appliance for that, WSA, which is updated version is ESA. So that we will discuss how we can deploy the WSA as a proxy server, okay, and how we can filter the traffic user using the user identities and authentication methods, right? And how we can create the policies on this box, and how we can filter the traffic, the bandwidth control, SSL description, data security, right? And SMTP overview. So simple mail transfer protocol. So we will discuss these things in this section, okay. And after that we have here next like these are the features like packet flow of ESA, okay, and anti-spam and antivirus, content filter, outbreak filter, okay, all these things. And after that, we have here AAA solution. So every vendor have their own solution. So Cisco have ICE. So we will discuss about AAA solution, the protocols, radius packets, the famous one. Okay, these are the two protocols used for AAA solution, and we are going to discuss about 802.1 authentication, how it works, and the behavior of Cisco ICE, the configuration, and how we can make integration between Cisco device and third party servers like Active Directory servers. Okay, so Active Directory servers are like your uh, user data, where you can store the user data, username and password. So you can store username and password on your Active Directory server, but ICE will authenticate using the username password of those server. Okay, and on ICE we have MAC authentication and wired and wireless authentication. We can use authentication for guest also, and we can use ICE posturing, device profiling, trust sec. Okay, so all these things we will cover. And after that we have here stealth watch. So for traffic, for like net flow, we have stealth watch to monitor the traffic on Cisco IS device and iOS XE. So we will understand the deployment of this device and the use case, because this is part of security lab also. Okay, and after that we have here AMP. So in AMP we will discuss about AMP device, the use case of AMP. Okay, how that is working, the use case, the deployment, again the policies. Okay, like how we can deploy on the cloud and on-prem deployment, right? Everything. And the last one is Cisco Umbrella. So Cisco Umbrella is for DNS protection. So how it can protect the DNS traffic and what is the DNS traffic. Okay, so we will discuss everything. So that is all your content for the course, guys. So if any one of you have doubt till now, please let me know. Everyone, is it clear?
Practical labs will be there or not? Only theory.
Practicals will be there for every device that we are discussing. Okay, so like if we
Okay,
have
we can access that one, or we can access the devices or not?
yeah, you will get the lab access. Okay, the initial lab
Okay.
will be maybe on your laptop, that is possible, and
Okay.
other devices which are maybe not possible on your, so that will be on our server, so that you can access. Okay, so
Okay.
now we are moving with the basics things of the network, right? So guys, here in network we have three types of data. If I talk about any network, types of traffic, so everyone knows about that. We have three types of traffic. The first one is control plane traffic, right? Second is management traffic. Third one is data traffic, or you can say not traffic, it's plane actually. Okay, so any one of you know about the type of traffic? Okay, let me explain you. The first one is known as control plane. So guys, control plane means which traffic is between the devices, which traffic is between the devices, right? So devices means here I'm talking about router to router. Okay, that traffic is between router to router, switch to switch. That means control plane traffic is used to establish a path for user data traffic. So if I have network, so suppose here is the user connected with a switch. So this switch is connected with other switch. Maybe we also have here switch 3. user is here, right? And now those are connected with one router, and here we have router 2. So that means whenever the traffic is only moving between the switches, like STP traffic, okay, for an example, CDP traffic, and the traffic is moving between the routers, like your EIGRP packets, maybe OSPF packets or BGP packets, right? So all type of traffic that's only belongs to the network devices, like router to router, router to switch to router. Okay, that is not actual user data like HTTP data, YouTube data, Facebook data, Google data, right? So this data is only between the devices. So that is control plane. So control plane is establishing a path for user. So if any user trying to access the Google, so how they can forward the traffic? They can forward the traffic through the network devices. But before that, these network devices create a path or establish a path between them, right? So that means there is path created by router 1 to router 2, because they know how to send data to Google, right? So that is because of the control plane traffic. That is because of the control plane traffic, right? So this is between network devices only, like router 1 forwarding data to router 2, EIGRP data, OSPF data, BGP data. It can be CDP data, LLDP data, or any data you can say, right? So that is control plane for the devices. And switches also have CDP data for each other, STP data for network protection, sorry, to prevent the loop, right? And also we have PAGP, LACP, okay? So this is also control plane traffic, but this traffic is not generated by user, okay? And similar, the second type of traffic is management, because before protecting the data you need to understand what type of data you want to protect now. So that's why we are discussing about type of traffic first, because if you don't know what type of traffic is this, how you can protect this data, right? Because we are discussing about data protection here, okay? But if I want to ask, if you want to protect EIGRP data, how you can protect that? Or if I say, okay, you have to protect HTTPS data, how you can protect that? So you have to categorize first, okay? This is control plane traffic, this is management traffic, okay? And this is user traffic. So management traffic is always user to network devices, okay? User to network devices. What is the meaning of network devices? Okay, so that means management traffic is like when we want to take the remote access of network device. When we want to take the remote access of network device, remote access means like I want to access my router through telnet, through SSH, or maybe some network device through HTTP, through HTTPS, okay? Or maybe you are using FTP, TFTP, right? So these traffic belongs to management. Okay, this traffic belong to management. That means that is not actual data that user is trying to send. Why? Because once you establish the network, you have to manage that network also. Why? So we have here one switch. We have here second switch. Those are connected. And now we have here one router. Here we have second router, right? So now we have network admin is here. So admin have to access every device to configure the network devices. So that traffic is from admin to network devices, or you can say user to admin device. So that is not for internet, right? That is to access the switch, so you can configure any access port, you can configure the router for routing protocol, or you can do any configuration on network device. So you will use these particular services to access the network devices, okay? So those services are part of management plane, those are part of management plane, okay? Is it clear? Okay guys, so next is data plane. Next is data plane. So data plane traffic is user to server, you can say. What is the meaning of user to server? Like if any user trying to access any application, like application is, it can be any application, Office 365 for me, okay, or it can be YouTube, it can be Insta, okay. So whenever user is trying to access such services, so that are passing through the network, like user switch router internet, right? And here we have services, all the services, Google service, Yahoo services, or any other services. So when user is trying to access the services through the network devices, so at that time, so network devices are forwarding the traffic through the internet to the particular server where those are located, maybe in Google data center, Facebook data center, or anywhere else, right? So that is part of data plane traffic, because this data plane traffic is generated by the user to the particular application or services. Those are exist on any server. Those are exist on any server. So we have three type of data guys here. We have three type of data. Control plane, device to device, okay. Management plane, user to device, right? And data plane traffic, user to server, right? So we have that type of traffic. Now we want to protect that data. How to protect it? How to protect? So that is our job. How we can protect it? So till now, if there is any doubt, any confusion, guys, let me know. Everyone? Okay. So now I'm starting with the management plane first, because the management is, if you have to manage your network devices, how you can control, how to make sure no one is going to access your network device, okay. So the first thing you need to know how to access the network device, and then you can ask about how you can protect that, okay. So I'm starting with the Cisco iOS device here, okay. So Cisco iOS device, like normal router and switch, okay. So that means the first of all, how to access it, that is the first question, guys. So normally if we have new router or new switch, so first of all we have to access it through CLI, okay. And CLI is also accessed through the console port. So that means the device have dedicated console port, okay. So we have here router, okay. So router have here one console port, that is RJ45, okay. So this console port you need to connect with your desktop. So you need to connect here console cable, the console RJ45 with your RJ45 port with router, and that cable is connected with your desktop. So that can be USB or DB9 converter on your desktop, okay. So mostly right now we are using USB, but before that it was DB9, okay. So DB9 like 9 pins on it, something like this. And after that you need a converter which is DB9 to USB, okay. But now we have directly USB that you can get from the market. So the first time device will be configured through the CLI is command line interface. So that means you will use here some tool like putty, okay, or secure CRT, any terminal tool. Those will help you to configure the commands on the router. Those will help to configure the commands, right? So we can configure the commands, and after that we can enable remote access also on the device. So later on we can access the network device through the network, not through the console cable, because every time this is not feasible for us to connect the console cable. Why? Because you need to move to the same location where router is located. So this is not possible for you every time to move to the same location and to configure the router, right? So what you want, once I will connect the router with my network, so I can access the router from IP address also directly. So that is the point here, right? So to access the router remotely, we have two protocols here. We have two protocols for remote access of router. The first one is telnet and second SSH. So the first we are going to discuss about telnet protocol. If anyone have idea, you can explain, guys. Anyone know about telnet protocol? What is telnet protocol? How it works and how to configure on network device? Okay. Telnet is for remote access, so we can configure on any device. So right now we are trying to configure telnet on security devices also. Okay, but before that we will understand the telnet behavior on Cisco router. So telnet is TCP based protocol. The first thing, TCP based protocol, and as we know TCP is reliable protocol. Okay, and that is using port number 23 for telnet services. Okay, because TCP is a transport layer protocol, right? Transmission control protocol, which is known as reliable protocol. Okay, we have two protocols, TCP and UDP for transport layer. The TCP is reliable, UDP is unreliable. So telnet is part of TCP, the reliability. So we can configure the telnet configuration and we can access. But the point is telnet traffic is visible in packets. So that telnet data is not actually secure data. So if I want to configure telnet on router and I want to capture the data, I will see properly what traffic is going through the packet. What traffic is going through the packet. So that is visible for me. So for that, I will show you how to configure the configuration. So the basic requirements, what are the prerequisites or requirements to configure the telnet on a router? So the first of all, reachability. Okay, so device must be reachable, so that means we need to give IP address on the router, and if router is not reachable, we need to check route or something on it, right? Okay, the route is existing in routing table or not, and after that we need to check the telnet is enabled or not. Telnet must be enabled on device, right? So we need to make sure, and after that we can use a username if required, so that is optional. By default you can access the device without username, but we need to make sure we have here enable password or enable secret password for that. Okay, so these three things are required minimum to configure the telnet on a device. So let me show you. Just a minute. Okay. Okay, wait for a minute. My VM is booting. Okay, so we will access it and start configuration. Okay. So let me use here devices. We need at least 2 routers. Okay guys, so let's start the configuration. So first of all, we need to give IP address on both routers. So in this, we are going to configure remote configuration on R2. Okay. So R1 will take remote. So client is R1 and the server is R2 for the configuration. Okay. So we are starting with the configuration on R1. So first of all, the host name, so we can remember the device. And I'm starting with the configuration on Ethernet 0x0 interface. Okay. IP address is 10.1 slash is 24. Okay. So we can check, we have IP address here 10.1 and the interface is up. Now we can start configuration on R2. The host name is R2. Interface is 0x0. IP address 10.2. Okay. And subnet mask is /24. So we have the IP address configuration. So you can start the reachability first of all. Okay, so there must be reachability before remote access. Okay, so remote will be possible if we have network connectivity. If there is no network connectivity and you have configured everything, but still you will not able to get the remote access, guys. Okay, so the first of all, we want to make sure that we have always enable password. Okay, so I'm not going to configure enable password first. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to configure line VTY. So if anyone have idea about line VTY, so line VTY is the virtual terminal where you can enable the telnet or SSH protocol unread, right? And if you check, we have here one number, we have 0, and on virtual it's giving 4, maybe on real router there are more connections, right? So we have 1 to 4. So what is the meaning of 0 to 4 here? First of all, so that means how many users can take connection at a time. So that means 5 user can take remote access of R2 at a time. That is the meaning of 0 to 4. Okay, and I'm not going to configure anything. So before that, you can check line VTY. So there is two commands under the line VTY. So we need to understand these things. So the first is here line VTY 0 to 4. That means 5 users can log in at a time. Okay, at same time. Okay, the second thing is here we have transport input none. What is the meaning of that command? Transport input none means no one can access the device through remote. So that means using telnet or using SSH or using any other protocol, you can't access the device. None means no one can input inside the device. Okay, so that is the meaning of that command. And the third command is login here. So what is the meaning of login? So login means you need to give password to the device under the line VTY. Under the line VTY, that is the meaning of login. So that means if I'm going to remove the login, I can access the device without even password, without even password. So that means if you check, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take telnet from R1. So what I will get, telnet 10.2. So that means we have here no connection. Connection is refused by the remote host. What is the reason? Because there is no telnet service running on R2. Why? Because there is transport input none. So there is no telnet service. So what I can do, transport input telnet. So that means we have enabled the telnet protocol. So it must accept the packet, right? So at that time, if I try, so that means now the device is asking, okay, telnet connection is open, but the password is required. So that means underline VTY, there is no password. If we don't have password, then how router is asking the password? Because of the login. So login means you need to give the password. So if I remove the login and try to access through the telnet, now it will not ask the password again. If you check, see, telnet connection is established. Why? Because on R2, what we did, we configured no login. No login means no need to ask password. So you can directly enter on R2 using the telnet connection without asking the password. So that is the reason. So if you configure the login command again here, so it will not allow you to configure that command. Why? Because this time you need to configure password first, then login. So I can configure here password. Okay, I need to change, wait a minute. Okay, and now I can configure login. So that means login is only acceptable when you have password for line VTY. Okay, so that is here. Now we can try exit. telnet. So this time we are getting here verification password. What is the verification password, guys? The password is Cisco. The password is Cisco, right? But after that, if you try to put enable command, enable is saying no password set. No password set. What is the reason? So that means you are trying to access the full access of the router. So that means if you configure enable, that means you want to access full access of this R2. So that's why password is required. Okay. And how that thing is working, we will discuss later. That is, there is a topic, privilege level. Okay. We need to understand that topic. Okay. For that thing. But right now you understand, if you want to access full access of router, enable password is required. So enable password, suppose we have CCNP. Okay. Enable, this time we have password CCNP, and now we can check using the show users. Wait. So we have one console because we have console access of R2, and the second we have line VTY number, connection number 2 on line VTY 0, and 10.1 is trying to access it. So that how we will get idea who is trying to access the router, who is trying to access the router. Okay. So now if you want to check on R2 also, because I was checking on R1 because R1 have access of R2, that's why. But if I am on R2 itself, so I can use that command and I can do clear line and line number 2. So this is line number, right? Line number 2. So it will kill the connection. So if you check on R1, the connection is refused by the host. So according to errors, you get to know what is the challenge and what is the problem. Remote access of the device. So I think this is the easiest configuration which we did for the telnet protocol. Till here, if you have any doubt, let me know, guys. Guys, any doubt? Okay, so if there is any doubt, let me know. Okay, you can ask or you can put your question in chat box also.
Hi, sorry, I joined late.
Uh, Hi, Raf.
If you have already described how is the course structure, can you just repeat it again, or if not, I'll wait. It's okay.
Don't worry, I will repeat it. Just give me 10 more minutes, okay? So we will finish that topic. I will
Thank you.
repeat it again. And
Yeah, thank you.
even team will share with you after the lecture, okay? So you can share your contact details or mail ID in the chat box here. Can collect the
Thank
information and
you.
share with you. Okay. So guys, if you have any doubt or any information you need, please share your details in the chat box. Okay. So team will share the information with you for this course. Okay. So now we are focusing on the configuration or how we can protect the management traffic, right? So for telnet, like we configured the IP address and just a password, but maybe in network you have multiple users. So at that time, how you will make sure who is trying to access your device? So as we know, we can configure username and passwords, right? Like username, okay, and we can configure the password at that time. Like I have another user also, Bob is user. Okay, the password is Cisco. So at that time, I need to inform under the line VTY. Now we need to use username and password. So login local is giving you idea. You need to use username and password to log in the device. So if we have only login under the line VTY, that means only password is required, and the password must be configured under the line VTY. Okay. And if login local is configured in line VTY, that means we need username and password which are configured in global configuration. So if you check the output, here is the output, guys. So this password is not required anymore. Why? Login local is asking for username and password both. Okay. So now if I'm on R1 and trying to access the telnet, so now here I'm getting username. Username is admin, password is Cisco, right? So this time if you say show users, so here it will give you user information also. Admin is trying to access it. Admin is trying to access it. Okay. And here is the IP address of admin. And if we exit the session trying to take talent and Bob is the user, password is Cisco, show users. Now the user is Bob and IP same way because we are trying to access from the same device. That is the reason. But now point is here, if there is any user, behind R1 who can access the R2, so how we can make sure only limited subnet or IP address can access R2? So how we can do that? So we have here one thing that we can use. We can use access list. See what we can use, guys. Access list. Okay. So access list we can apply, like I want to permit only one user 10.1. Okay. If any other will come except 10.1, they will die. And I will apply that under the line VTY. Under the line VTY, that means I will say here access group, and the ACL number is maybe like I'm using here standard ACL. You know about ACL. We will discuss in detail about it also. Group number 1 direction is in. So that means if anyone try to access line VTY, so they must pass through this access list first. So device will check access list 1, and in that only 10.1 is permitted. So if there is 10.2 who is trying to access the device through talent, that should not be allowed. Why? Because now ACL is applied. So that how you can control. Because right now unlimited user, unlimited means not at the same time but maybe on different times, anyone can access the R2. Anyone can access the R2. We have not specified any policy or location or any ACL, right? So what I want to configure the ACL access list standard 1. We want to permit, and what we want to permit. Okay, so I'm using single IP address, so I can give like this. Okay, so I want to permit only 10.1. Exit. You know, access list have by default implicit deny, right? So now we have standard ACL 1, the permitted IP is 10.1. Okay, and what we want now, we want to apply it on line VTY, and here we can apply access class 1 direction is in. So class, not the group. Okay, now we have applied 1 is the number of the ACL. Okay, so right now IP address of 10.1 R1 is 10.1. So if the user is trying, allow. It will allow. Why? Because I configured the wrong username. Okay. Now you can see. So we are eligible to access it, right? But now suppose I configure a different IP 10.2. Oh, sorry, 10.2 is already on R2, 10.10 on R1. After that, R1 will able to take telnet or not. Let's see that. So we are moving on interface. It's 0 by 0. IP address 10.10. And now, if you try to ping, it must be reachable. Yeah, we are able to ping. And now let me try to let. Connection is refused. Okay. So what I can do, right now we can't see the logs, so I can use access list, standard one. So we have deny and we want to see the logs. So by default there is implicit deny, we no need to define the command, but just I want to see the logs, so I enable it. Okay, show IP list. Okay, so we have here match, and now we have one more entry. The entry number is sequence number is 20. So router check sequence 10, then sequence 20. If traffic is not matched with this, now we can see telnet is refused. See, the list one denied 10.10 trying to access. Okay, with the package is 1. So the telnet traffic is dropped from R1 this time. Why? Because IP address is now different, which is not allowed into the this is this here. So is it clear to everyone, guys, how we can use? Okay, so now there is one more point in telnet. Telnet is good to take remote access, but there is one problem with telnet protocol. And what is that? Any idea, guys, why the telnet is not good for remote access? The telnet traffic is not encrypted. So if you try to capture the traffic, it will visible properly. Let me show you guys. So we will try to access the telnet, but before that I will do the capturing. Okay, so I will capture the ETH0 interface. Okay, so the packets are receiving. So let me generate the telnet traffic. Before that I need to change the IP address. My interface is now shut down by default. Not by default, we did it already. Is changed. Okay, and now let me try to take the telnet. Now telnet is accessible. Admin Cisco enable CCNP. Okay, so let me try some configuration. So I will configure here one loopback just to check the configuration is visible or not. Okay, so we did some configuration and we access it. Now let's check the captures. So this is the last data we can check in flow TCP stream. Okay, so here you can see the username is admin, it's visible, the password is Cisco, enable password is CCNP, right? Configuration terminal, and we configured interface loopback 222, okay, 255. So every configuration and everything what we configured on R2 is visible clearly in the packets. So if anyone try to capture your data, they can easily capture your data. Okay, so the telnet traffic is not secure. So that's why we trust with SSH protocol. So SSH we will discuss in the next lecture, okay, in tomorrow lecture. So till here, if you have any doubt, guys, you can ask your questions. Everyone, is it clear? Okay, great. Yeah, guys, if you have doubt, please you can ask now. Okay, guys, so that's all about for the first class. Okay, so tomorrow we have second class, and if you have any query, just let me know or share your details in chat. Okay, so team can connect with you if you have any query, and we will join tomorrow. Okay, and start with the same schedule what we discussed. But if you have anything you want to ask, you can ask freely. Okay, everyone, thank you. Have a good night, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for time.